Join the team at Surehold Industries as they journey across the center of Florida, utilizing the unique locking system of the Okeechobee Waterway.
Good morning, hey there, Barry Burhoff with Surehold Industries, and today's adventure is another series of clean and simple tips, and this is about crossing the state of Florida through the Okeechobee Waterway. Now, the Okeechobee Waterway was built in 1937, and it was originally meant to shorten the path from going around the peninsula to allow commercial vessels to cross through the middle of the state, delivering produce and other goods. Today, that still happens, but also a tremendous amount of recreational boaters use it as a way to get from Stuart, Florida area to the Fort Myers, Florida area. We are going to show you several tips and tricks, some cool things, how to talk to the lockmaster, how to get through the bridges, and a couple other things and sights that we'll see along the way. So why don't you join us as we cross the Okeechobee Waterway.
When beginning your trip, make sure to consider the operating hours of the locks, which are normally open from 7 a.m. to 5 p.m. The first stop on the journey east is the W.P. Franklin Lock.
Okay, so we're at our start of our adventure and we are at our first lock, and several things that you need to make sure that you have before you lock through is you need fenders, you need your crew. I recommend at least 2 people when you're going through the locks. We're going to use 3. You need your VHF radio, and everyone who is locking through should be wearing their life jacket. Additionally, make sure you have a safety knife on board, and you'll see where this makes sense because when the locks are taking you down, if you have a rope that gets hung, you need to be able to cut it free. So we're going to enter our first lock. When you make it to the beginning of the lock, there is a sign that says arrival point. Your lockmaster is going to be on channel 13 on your VHF, and we're going to hail the lockmaster now and let him know that we're here. Franklin Lock, this is the vessel Surehold requesting passage going eastbound.
Okay, I'll get the chamber ready. Come in on the green light. You guys can tie off on either side. First vessel, come in about halfway.
10-4, thank you very much. So very important to listen to the lockmaster's instructions. Today he gave us a choice of locking on either side of the boat. So we're going to set up on the port side for locking through today. There is a stoplight that we can see ahead of us, and right now it's flashing red. He's getting the lock ready for us. He said when it turns green that we should come on in. We're going to go about halfway. So we're going to hang it right here at the waiting and arrival point, and then we will take it into the lock and get ready. I'm going to get my crew ready in the meantime. They're going to get the bumpers out and they're going to get on some gloves. Now, we like to wear gloves when we're locking through because a lot of the lines have been sitting in the water that they have for the locks because you use their lines on the Okeechobee Waterway, and this keeps you from getting your hands all nasty and all that. So we're going to call the crew up and get the boat all set and move into our first lock.
When the green light is given, idle into the lock. Be sure to have your bumpers deployed and have a crew member ready at the bow cleat and another at the stern cleat. Grab hold of the provided lines and keep the vessel close to the lock wall. Since the water level will be changing, it's only necessary to lightly cleat or firmly hold the lines during this process. Once secure, the entry port will begin to close. Once fully closed, the exit port will open slightly, either releasing or capturing water until it matches the water level on the opposite side of the lock. Be sure to listen for further instruction during this process. Once the water level is matched, the exit port will open fully. When the lockmaster gives the all clear, the vessel can be untied and safely idled out of the lock in an orderly fashion. Next on the journey eastward is the Fort Denodes Swing Bridge, a vehicle bridge located in one of Florida's oldest civilizations.
Fort Denodes Swing Bridge. Fort Denodes Swing Bridge, this is the vessel Surehold.
Good morning, Captain. Fort Denodes. I'll be right out.
Thank you so much. There's 2 of us passing through. Okay, so we are calling a bridge, unlike a lock. This is channel 9 instead of channel 13. And this is one of the kids' favorite things to see when we go through. This is an old style single lane car bridge. And the bridge master or bridge tender, she's gonna come out from the little hut over here, walk to the center of the swing bridge to operate it. So while it's operating, she's trapped on the bridge, and it's kind of neat. It's going to rotate about 90 degrees, and we're going to pass on through one of the neat old structures along the Okeechobee Waterway.
After passing through Fort Denoud, Next on the waterway is the Ortona lock. The locking process remains the same. Once clear of the Ortona lock, the voyage continues to the Moore Haven lock, the last lock encountered before crossing through Lake Okeechobee. After departing the Moore Haven lock, the Okeechobee Rim Canal is taken south to the fishing village of Clewiston. Here you'll see air boaters, bass fishermen, and historic landmarks. From Clewiston, there are two route options to navigate Lake Okeechobee. The Rim route, which continues the journey along the canal on the rim of the lake for a slower, more relaxed trip, and Open Water Cross, which takes you through the wide-open center of the lake. The team at Surehold chose the faster route, Open Water Cross. The distance spans approximately 39 miles. A great time to kick back and relax, even have the kids do their homework. Heading eastward, the Port Mayaca lock will be the first lock encountered once the opposite side of the lake is reached.
So Lake Okeechobee is the highest point in the crossing, so the locks on both sides work their way up. So once you've crossed the lake the way we just have, now you're going to start to work your way down, and this is our first downward going lock. Now when you're going down, it's a lot more dangerous than going up, so you have to be very careful with your crew and make sure that they do not tie off the lines, but they just have a nice S-cleat and they don't have anything that's going to get caught or marred. You also want to make sure you have a safety knife on board, because once the lock starts going down, they're not going to stop it. And if the line gets caught or tied, it could end up pulling the boat, ripping the cleat, so you do need a safety knife just in case you need to cut that line. You want to make sure that your crew keeps letting a little bit of line out. That way, as you're going down, there's always just the littlest amount of slack in the line. You don't want to get too tight, because the lock can get ahead of you very quickly and again cinch that line, making it where you need to cut it. So again, stay ahead of it, let a little bit of line out, make sure you have a safety knife, and be safe in the lock.
After passing through the Port Mayaca lock, the Port Mayaca Railroad Bridge is the next navigation obstacle. Although normally open, at 49 feet it is the lowest vertical clearance encountered along the Okeechobee Waterway. The next stop will be the Indiantown Railroad Swing Bridge. This bridge is passable through VHF contact with the bridge master.
Indiantown Rail Bridge, Indiantown Rail Bridge. This is the vessel Surehold headed eastbound.
The last lock on the eastbound trip is the St. Lucie lock. This lock has the largest water level change, at approximately 14.5 feet under normal water level conditions.
St. Lucie lock.
Yeah, there's two of us headed eastbound, requesting to lock through when your next lock is open.
It'll be just a few minutes to wrap it up a westbound. Set your vessels for a starboard side tie and watch for the green light.
10-4 starboard side tie, vessel Surehold and vessel Goldfish coming up. Thank you. Okay, so there you have it, 105 miles approximately from the first lock to the last lock crossing the state. So regardless if you're going eastbound or westbound, Stuart to Fort Myers to Stuart, that's what you got to do. You're going up to the lake and then back down. Always going through the locks and keeping yourself safe. Until next time, this is Barry Burhoff with Surehold Industries. Keep your boat clean and simple.
Come on, guys. They already know to subscribe. Let's keep this nice and clean.